Hello and welcome to a bit of a special. You see, we are celebrating the history of one of the greatest car manufacturers of all time. The Italian manufacturer, Lampa Adani. Now, as I said, this is an Italian manufacturer. It was originally a part of Garati, worked for the head of Garati, when he decided to split off and become his own company. And, well, this beautiful machine is the first performance car that they built in the very early 1960s, 63 I believe this version. And just listen to this car, it's glorious going around these hills. Absolutely glorious. Can't go on a night with a classic 60s engines go around these hills. Gets a little bit of airtime, but the handling is just phenomenal. And yeah, this was their first performance car. They had a few slower models that were also very equally revolutionary, but we're going to be focusing on the performance models for these days. And, well, it did use a modified Garati engine, so it's not too powerful, but it is the 60s, remember that. It's lightweight, it's fantastic handling. And, well, right now anyway, it's very, very expensive. Costs over $1 million at auction now because, well, it is very rare. And you can just chuck it around these corners. It is glorious. You rev it up to 7,500. Oh, right. Whoa. Oh, that's a bump. Bump. Whoa. Whoa. Ta. Okay. Okay, I guess we're gonna call it the performance test done there. Oh, that got about an inch away from wrecking $1 million car on a concrete wall. Why don't we just pull off on this little siding over here? Whew. So with that done, it is still undeniable this car is a perfect encapsulation of Italian performance. It looks gorgeous, it sounds amazing, it's fast, it's agile, it's everything you want a car to be. And it has an exclusivity. It costs over $1 million on average at auction. It's incredible. And remember, this is their first outing for a performance car, and that engine, that body, it's a masterstroke. Absolute masterstroke. And this is only the first car in their very long and glorious history. Now, fast forward to the middle end of 1960s with the introduction of this. This is the Casso, and, well, this is the 60s. This is the mid to end 60s here. It's got that Bond-esque theme, you know? It looks just perfect. It sounds perfect. It's got a naturally aspirated V12 that revs again up to 7,000. And, well, I think it looks just as amazing as it sounds. I just love the hood scoop that actually works and cools the engine there. You can see the engine bulging out of the scoop. And it does look very happy. It does look like a very happy car. And this one is a little bit cheaper. Doesn't quite have the exclusivity. They made a few more of them. But this Casso here is about $600,000 to own, which is still a fair chunk of change to throw around, you know? And oh, it's just brilliant. It rides smooth, it has a nice interior. Not as nice as the Michele, but I think I'm clear in saying this. It's one of my favorite front-engined cars from the 60s of all time. I don't think there's a better car that perfectly encapsulates Italian 60s like this car, besides maybe the Monroe, but for front-engine vehicles, this is, in my opinion, one of the pinnacles. And, well, and they sold this up until the 1970s when they replaced it with a brand new car. Yes, in the 1970s they unveiled the mid-engine rear-wheel drive Viserys. It is an Italian built and Italian styled, but it's got a big old vapid V8 in it. And we're gonna see just how fast that American V8 can propel this Italian sports car down the runway. So we gotta spin the tires up. Shall we begin? And launch. Oh, we got some go about it. It revs a bit higher, almost at 8,000. Alright, here we go. Nice, nice. Get some speed up. 90 miles an hour. Come on, run out of my... This is pretty quick for the 70s. Because remember, this is the EPA crisis. This is right during that. And, well, it is pretty good in a straight line, but I'm even more impressed with how it handles in the corners, as I shall now demonstrate. Weaving in and out. You see, this is a very technical autocross course. Come on. Now use a little bit of handbrake there. It is a very grippy car. It has massive rear tires. And, well, it doesn't slide that easily. But it does get around this course pretty nicely. It has lots of grip, both front end and rear end. Which means we have a few more corners left to go. The strange apex around the corner. Here we go. And across the line. Yes. That grip is an incredible feature. And I think more cars should have it. But their biggest innovation came in 1975. With this. This is the Trotheos rally car, arguably the biggest innovation of rallying in the history of the sport. You see, they were building production cars, and this basically isn't. This is not. It doesn't sound like one. Oh, it sounds so much better than a production car. You see, it's basically a rally Formula 1 car, because it's custom built for rallying. Now, they did sell it to the public later on, just so it can meet homologation requirements, but that was a first. It is the first car to be specifically designed for rallying. And, oh, that is incredible. So, why not take it on a rally stage, eh? Oh, knock this off my automotive bucket list. 1975 Trotheos Rally on a rally stage. Here we go. That's a glorious sounding V6, naturally aspirated. You cannot go wrong with that. It doesn't have the most amount of power. However, it doesn't need it. It weighs about 5 ounces. So, with that rear-wheel drive, and tiny body, and decent amount of power, it was able to secure 3 World Rally Championships for Lampadati, which would help Lampadati eventually become the most successful manufacturer in the history of rallying. And a part of it was thanks to this very car. This car competed in the 1975 Rally Championship. And, well, it's been a good day. It's been a very good day. So, if you take the body panels off, you can see just how technical this little car is. You see, they put the tire where the engine is normally. Then they made some bigger suspension. They took all the weight out of the thing. Yeah, you do have to have a seat for your co-driver because rallying. They stripped the body panels out, everything you didn't need. Don't need any seating. They have lots of buttons and switches which do things. And then the master stroke, the engine. You see, they basically got their V8s from the past and chopped off a few cylinders, fitted sideways, and then all of that power could go to the massive rear tires, which gave it tons of grip. And all that made it to be one of the most successful rally cars of all time, and one of my personal favorites to drive. Now, that is where Lampa Adani went. They went under bankruptcy for a while, and then some rich guy bought them in the 90s, and turned them into a boat company. So, yeah, I don't know much about boats, but this is a Lampa Adani from the 90s. This was designed in the 80s, so it cost over $1 million, and by the 90s, no one was alive to buy it because of the stock market crash. So, very few of these were produced, only about 30 of them were produced. But, let's fire it up. Whoa, dear. I must say, for a boat, I'm not a big fan of boats. However, this thing is bloody nimble. It's also massive. It's about twice the size of a normal speedboat. And it is very luxurious, but it is also very fast. Very fast. Why? Well, they got some old Lampa Adani engines from the 60s, updated them with more modern materials from the 90s, and they stuffed 2 V12 engines into this boat to give it about 1,000 horsepower. The thing is mental. An absolutely mental contraption. I love it. One of the first boats I've actually liked in a long time. Then I was told to get back to the car program, not the boat program. So we fast forward to the early 2010s, when they finally got in a different set of hands, after the boat company went under, and they finally went back to making cars, starting with the Felon. Now, this Felon here is a rear-wheel drive super saloon, and it is very slidey. It is, rear-wheel drive, 4 doors, and a fairly big V8 in it. It is the sport package, as you can see here, with all the hood scoops and splitters and all sorts of fun things. And it's also very good at turning. Now, it does have it has so much grip that if you hit a curb, it will roll over. It has so much grip around a corner. So you gotta be aware of that. But it is a fantastic car to drive. Now, the only thing that would be better with this car is if, I don't know, they made this car into a, 2-door convertible. But there's no way that Lampa Adani would ever make a 2-door convertible, right? Oh, here it is, the Felon GT. And, well, let's put the top down, shall we? We are on the coast here. It only seems right. And it has the same power plant. It's just a bit smaller. It is a bit heavier, though, because of the reinforcements needed for the, convertible. But, you see, it is a very nice car, do not get me wrong. But this isn't really what Lampa Adanis are. They're sports cars. And although this is very, very good, it took them another 2 years before they would get their senses together and go back to their roots. And finally, they got there with the Fior GT. This is a 2-door, rear-wheel drive, Italian Grand Tourer. Grand Tourer? I don't know, I struggle with English occasionally. But it is, as you would expect from a Lampa Adani, it's very comfy, has nice red stitching, it is very luxurious, and it looks absolutely stunning. And, well, it's got a nice twin-turbo V8. So, although it is designed for luxury, it is still a pretty quick car, and, well, it certainly belongs in this little area of ritziness. But it doesn't actually cost that much. Only costs a couple $100,000. So, I say only a couple $100,000. That's very cheap in modern day standards, and well, I think it fits in very well in the ritzy parts of Los Santos here. So, yeah, now, you think it would be a little too heavy to jump lights or something, but you'd be wrong. Wait for it, wait for it, let the tires up, here we go! Alright, we're just waiting for green now. Just wait for the green. Wait for it. Red. There we go. And we're off. How fast can we get? 60, 70, 80, 90. That was very fast. Get on the brakes. Brakes are fantastic. I am officially saying that. The brakes are fantastic. And the acceleration for a rear-wheel drive car ain't too bad either. Now, I know this is a luxury car and it's not designed to do this, and it's supposed to be cultural. And this isn't a particularly cultural thing to do, airport run. But it is very fun, so let's give it a go. Alright, rev it at 8,500 RPM. Use all that horsepower. On 90, 95. Come on. Now 100 miles an hour is the top speed of the adder. Run out and run, get on the brakes. Ooh. And the handling is nice, so we can make that corner at 70 miles an hour. I like this car. But people say that I should be sensible with this car because it is a Grand Tour. I should be viewing art and luxury locations. So there's a museum up there. But honestly, the tolls are just so slow. It's so dull going up that mountain. We might as well have a little bit of fun with it before we arrive at our museum. So here we go. Around the corner we have lots of turning. Get on the power. Ooh, very sideways. Alright, uphill we go. We don't have quite as much speed up here because it is an uphill run. Weave in and out of traffic. There we go. Use that acceleration and that top speed and the handling all at the same time. You have a tightening apex corner here. Just a little bit more. And we are at the museum now. Oh, I need to find a parking space. Just chuck it in. I'm not seeing any parking spaces here. I don't know where they are. I guess I have to go back. Oh, nope, maybe if you search one more time. Just for good measure, chuck it about, you know. I couldn't find any parking spaces. Maybe a little bit of airtime will help me find them. After a while, I did indeed find a parking space, but I realized, why take the car in a parking space when I could just drive it around the museum? You see, although it is a sports car, it actually has a considerable amount of ground clearance. And it is, for being a modern day car, relatively compact. Which means we can just fit through these little areas, you know? Nice and easy. You have to be a little slow and a little careful about your line. But that turning does allow you to have a lot of a very small turning circle, which is very beneficial in this area. And you can just explore the park. The brakes are good if you get a little too fast. And then you can just go, look at the art, look at the maze. Just weaving in and out nice and slowly, not bugging anybody's day. Except I'm gonna stand on that bench, I do apologize. But you see, we can just go around here, and it has this. And if you want to go to the second floor or whatever, no problem. Just nice angle, and we have enough ground clearance. Go up the hill, there you go. Look at that. It's a very practical car, too. And it has a nice visibility is fantastic in this car. So you can just park it up here, and you can just slowly drive and look around. You see, I can view the whole world from my driving room. It's fantastic. So, in conclusion, Lampadati has had some of the best, most gorgeous, loud, and incredible vehicles in the history of the world. And very few manufacturers can hold the same esteem. Sure, they cost a lot. Sure, their prime, if you will, was in the 60s and 70s. But they are still, to this day, a thriving and incredible manufacturer. And not many manufacturers from the 60s can still say that today. It's a very competitive field, and after they've recovered from the ashes of bankruptcy and have made and continue to make some of the greatest cars of all time.